Welcome back, y'all. It is an absolutely gorgeous day out here. I've been at work most of the day. I just got home, but we've got quite a few chores we need to get taken care of this evening. I gotta go around and get all of our meat chicken stuff together. I gotta go find the cage that we carry them in to move them to the chicken tractor. And the interesting part is we gotta move that old rickety rackety chicken tractor we've got back up here to the top of the hill so we can start using it again. If you haven't seen that in past videos, well, you're fixing to here in just a few minutes. Well, hopefully, yeah, there they are. It's been so long since we used these things, I wasn't 100% sure they were still down here. Those little things right there are handy. Sit down, Maggie. We bought those at an antique tractor show of all places one year. They had two of them there, and those are some handy things to have if you're moving chickens from like a brooder house over to a chicken coop, chicken tractor, whatever you're moving them to. Swing it in the other way. This thing's had a hard life, but it's still holding together. So, many of you may or may not know that, I don't know, probably going on about 2 years ago now, we were raising quite a few meat birds every year to process and sell. We had this chicken tractor going, and then later on we built more of like the Salatin style tractor with the wood. And I'm gonna tell you, this tractor right here didn't last long at all. This was store-bought lumber, and I'm not gonna give fault to the Salatin style design, because the PVC tractor is built like the Salatin tractors, but it's just made out of white PVC pipe. That tractor right there is twice as old as this one. I think we got one season out of that tractor right there, and it started just falling apart on it. I blame it on the lumber. The PVC has actually held up very well for us. I got this design from Josh at Stony Ridge Farmer, probably, I want to say it was back in 2019, and that's when we started raising meat birds. Now we just basically raise enough for ourselves here. But at one point we sold a bunch and did okay with it. But at that particular time, we were both working full-time jobs, and it just got kind of hectic taking care of that many birds, processing that many birds, and everything else that we have going on here amongst raising that many meat chickens. It was just hectic, and we decided to scale back to the point where we just raise enough for ourselves. If we were still using this tractor to raise that many chickens, it probably wouldn't hold up, and I would have already built a new tractor, because at that point it's making us money and I can invest money back into it, build new ones, so on and so forth. But at this point where we're just raising, like we've got 30 right now in the spring, and we're going to have probably 30 again this fall, it does just fine. The thing holds together, and it serves its purpose. I'm going to back up to this thing. Will you come here, and when I back up to it, slip this over the ball on the back? Can you come back more? Got it? Hop in. Each year, this is the nerve-wracking part for me. Moving it on this long move from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill. I always say if it holds together through this, then it'll probably make it through another season of raising chickens. She looks a little rough. So I know it. Several of y'all probably wonder why I don't have it hooked to the bottom runner instead of the top, because it would make it a lot easier to drag. Well, I can't hook it to the bottom runner because that's part of what fell apart on this thing. And even though this one's broke too, this top runner's a lot sturdier than the bottom runner, so it works. I'm going around looking, trying to figure out if we've got any bad tears we need to fix. We probably should put that up. I'm gonna tell y'all, take it from a person who has experienced it, do not, and I mean do not, use chicken wire around one of these chicken tractors. Use the small hardware cloth. As you can see, we had chicken wire, and then we recovered it with the hardware cloth. And there's a reason why for that. One of our very first years of growing meat chickens, we lost at least half of the meat chickens one night to a coon, because those chickens will pile up in the corners here, and a coon, their paw is just small enough that it can reach through that chicken wire, and I'm not going to explain the rest. You can imagine what happened. Anyways, learn from our mistakes. Do not use chicken wire on a chicken tractor. The meat chickens will only be in it for, let's see, yeah, right around a month, maybe just a little bit, maybe a month, maybe 5 weeks. So it should work. It should be just fine. It should keep them safe and keep a roof over them. Now with these meat chickens, these Cornish cross, we really like to use these 5-gallon waters, especially once they come out, because the bigger they get, obviously the more water they drink. But they really drink a lot of water, especially when you start getting into warmer days. So it's nice to have plenty of water there for them to drink. All right, their water's ready. So I got me some zip ties here. I'm gonna fix these wire spots. And these are some metal feed troughs that my daddy actually made those for us a couple years ago. Well, back when we were still running a couple, 200 or 300 chickens a year, he made those for us. But these work really nice with the Cornish cross. You know, you got the little spinny top, just like the store-bought ones, except they're made out of a whole lot heavier gauge steel. Matter of fact, they're made out of stainless. So, you know, it kind of makes them hard to roost up on top of their feeder. Then you got these lips right here that help from the chickens scratching their feed out. And I'll tell you, you could totally pour this feed out on the ground and let them scratch that way. And we have done that plenty of times, especially when we've got more birds than we have feed troughs. But the one thing that I have noticed, and I don't know if it's maybe the salt in the feed or what it is, but anywhere where you fed your chickens on the ground, and I'm just talking about the meat bird feed, like I'm not talking about your regular egg laying chickens, but specifically with that meat bird feed, Anywhere that you pour that feed out on the ground, I've always noticed that it kills that grass spot. So, I mean, it might just be a little bitty grass spot, but I already don't have enough grass up here and I don't want to kill no more than I have to. So, that's why we feed them out of these troughs. And something else I really need to do is come out of this hoodie. It's got too hot out here to have a coat on. I guess I'll come out of it in a minute, but I'm just going to use zip ties to tie this wire back. Because you already got your chicken wire in here, and then we're going to have this on the outside, so that's going to be plenty of protection. I don't think nothing's going to get in there to them. Plus, we are inside of our pasture too. While that doesn't add a great level of protection, it still adds some protection being inside these two hot wires. Yeah, I guess this old chicken tractor here, I mean, I know the day's coming, I'm going to have to build another one, but until then, I'm going to keep rocking this one as long as I can. All right, I tell you what, she may not look like much, but as long as these PVC pipes don't break in half, which they ain't far from, but as long as these PVC pipes don't break in half, this pile of junk right here is going to raise us 30 meat chickens this spring. So let's keep our fingers crossed it holds together. My daddy does metal fabrication for a living, and that's how he was able to make us these. And I'm gonna tell you something, that's been one blessing that we've had in our life, is having him be able to fabricate the stuff that he can fabricate. He's built a whole lot of stuff for people in this community. And I'm not bragging on him just because he's my daddy, but he does a really good job at it too, and takes pride in what he does, which is something most people nowadays don't do. That's the nice thing about this stainless though, man, that stuff just polishes up like new money. And one more piece of advice before we move the chicks in. If your ground's like ours and it's unlevel and it's got dips and everything like that in it, every time you park this chicken tractor, you need to make sure that everything is touching the ground all the way around. And if it ain't touching the ground, either move it so it is touching the ground or put something there to, number one, keep your chickens from going under it, and number two, to keep something from going under it into the chickens, because both will happen. Oh, maybe 2 years after we started raising meat chickens or something, we had this one out. I think it was this one, it may have been the other tractor. But anyways, we didn't realize the grass was a lot taller, and we didn't realize that it wasn't making contact all the way around. And when we come home from work one day, we had meat chickens running all over the pasture out here. So they come out. Luckily nothing got them, but the chickens did come out. So we learned, once again, the hard way, that we need to make sure we pay extra careful attention to that kind of stuff. So while we do this, Jacob has promised to go ahead and take care of the other chickens. So that's how he's getting out of moving the nasty, stinky meat chickens. Yeah. I'm ready.
Put this thing up here where I can get to it. And I'll just grab them and throw them in there. You gonna be my door worker?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm always gonna be a door worker every time we meet chickens.
Are y'all happen to be hungry? There's just some food.
Well, how am I supposed to get in there?
Just like, you're all right. I got it. It ain't many of them.
Look, here.
Gosh, you're fast.
We gotta be fast.
I see that.
Try not to let them flap their wings too much or they'll break them. I got this part.
Okay.
I just might need a taller person when they go to run them to the back.
All right, well, I'll step in then. And these chickens stayed in here, I don't know, what would you say, a week longer than we probably would have normally put them?
Yeah, but it's just because
But it's been cold
we had them
outside.
cold nights.
Normally we wouldn't have let them get this big in the brooder, but
No.
it's just been too cold to put them out there.
They're going to finish, baby.
Yeah, I'd say we probably left them a week longer than normal. I mean, we have put them out there as weedies, like not even a week old.
Yeah, but during the warm months.
Yep.
'Cause I'm gonna tell you something. These chickens make a mess.
Yeah, I mean,
Quick.
the only way I'd raise Cornish crosses if I had a way to move them. Keeping them like this right here.
Yeah, you couldn't raise meat chickens. These Cornish cross you could not raise in a meat
Well, you
in
can.
a chicken coop.
You can, but
Well,
usually once people do that one time, they're like, I ain't never having them again. you
yeah,
know.
they're too nasty.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much manure they concentrate in a really short amount of time.
They're little bitty.
Yeah, it didn't take them long to get big either, did it?
I did not wait until we have more chicken.
I know. Me either. The smart ones are always last. There's no good way to catch them.
Well, that's what I was fixing to talk about here. This is not a brooder house. We didn't build this house to intentionally brood chicks. What it is a chicken house that we already had that we weren't using, and we thought it'd make a good brooder house. However, as you can see, it sometimes can be a little bit challenging to get chicks out that go to the back. However, if I was going to build me a brooder, it would probably be something that the lid opened up on top so I could access the whole thing. I would not build something like this, but it's what we had and it works for us because we don't raise a ton of chickens anymore. Oh, there's several still in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
There should be
9.
29 altogether.
There's 9 in there.
Gosh, Daddy, you're good.
Gosh, Daddy. Tiger said, I want to catch one so bad I can't stand it.
I know she does. The key with them is with this hoe is move so fast that they can't figure out what you're doing because they're not exactly the smartest animal in the world.
Y'all are literally going to greener pastures, I promise.
These chickens have blue eyes.
Do they? Tiger said, can I have that one? Can I just have that one? Please.
It's amazing how hot they are. They're like the hottest bird ever.
Yeah. They put
Look at
off
here, you dummy, you run straight towards me.
they put off a whole lot of heat. One year, I can't remember, I don't think it was last year, remember those? We put them out like we normally do, and we had like a couple of really cold days come all of a sudden, and we had to like put tin up and rig up a heat lamp and everything
I think
else.
that was last year.
Was that last year?
We had some cold wind that come.
That's what it was.
And we're right out there where the tractor is, the wind just
That's right.
gusted right through it.
It was last year. Yeah, like
Look at that, he run right to my arms.
we just know they was gonna freeze to death.
But they didn't, they
No,
made it.
they all made it fine. I think they do better as far as staying alive this time of year versus in the heat of the summer.
Yeah, I think they can tolerate cold better than they can tolerate hot.
Yeah. Because if you don't know the way these things are, where they're bred for meat and bred to grow fast, they're not the hardiest chicken that ever was.
Is that all?
And it's not, I would say,
Is this all, Daddy?
I
Yeah.
usually say plan on losing 10% when you raise them.
Yeah.
I think that's a good number. So 10% of 30 would be 3, and I've already lost 2. So
So if you can do better than that, then you've done good.
yeah, then you've done good.
Well,
And you might do worse than that.
Let's put these things on the Kubota. They're gonna be heavy. I just think to set it up on top of all that because there's too much stuff in the bed of it.
Honey, I'm short. You think they'll sit there?
I ain't done yet.
Oh.
There, they'll sit there. We ain't got far to go. All right, woman. You more detail oriented than I am. You check this thing over before we get too far into this.
All right.
I think it's good, don't you?
Yeah, that right there is the only part worries me, but if old Coon tries to stick his hand down
He
there.
ain't getting in that. No,
Unless
he ain't getting in.
unless he pulls that wire down.
He ain't gonna get in that at all.
That's the only thing, that part right there, but the rest of it looks as good as it did. Did you tell him how it got broke like that?
No,
You don't remember?
no.
Lovey jumped up on top of it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Where was it at for Lovey to be on?
He was over here. We tried to let him stay with these cows and he wouldn't do it.
Oh, yeah, I had forgot that.
He jumped right up on top of it and busted it. That's done been a couple years ago. We gonna set it in there?
Can you?
I don't know.
We can set it right there.
Well, you gonna unload them then?
Yeah.
They might think, what is this soft green place?
What is this soft green place that ain't covered in manure? Oh, they done found the water.
Remember how I used to move them before I got this cage? Do you remember?
No.
I used to put them in a 5-gallon bucket.
Did you?
And I'm moving about 5 or 6 at a time.
I don't remember that.
I did.
I always remember having that.
I'd make 500 trips, I felt like.
Oh, sorry, little bird.
Which, that's when the little greenhouse was sitting right there, and I would just have to bring them, you know, right here.
Last one.
Welcome to your forever home.
I see you're so excited. We're going to bring up some feed out here.
Yeah, I'll get them some. I won't need but one of them troughs right now.
Oh, you don't?
Till they get a little bigger. That other one can sit there, though. That's what I did last time.
Let me out.
Because if not, they'll go to wasting feed if I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to say one of them troughs holds about a half a 5-gallon bucket. You got this? Well, need me to help you?
Nope, she doesn't need no help.
Oh, them things are deeper than I thought.
Yeah, they're really deep.
Yeah, they hold a lot of feed. They'd have held more than that, wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm. The only reason I know that is when we used to run all them chickens, I would bring a whole 5-gallon bucket out here and I could split it between both of them. Here, chickies. Y'all got a new way to eat.
Right
Yep.
now, they're just like, what is this place?
You gotta figure it all out.
They're walking around picking the vines that are on it.
I see that. Maybe they'll clean them out. Well, I didn't.
Why don't you?
But now you talking about some hot fertilizer for grass. I don't know what's any more different about these versus the regular egg chickens. They'll make some grass grow. They'll kill some grass too.
Yeah, if you leave them too long, it'll kill the grass. But yeah, the regular egg chickens, their spots don't turn green like this. So this will have a green stripe everywhere that chicken tractor runs, especially as they get older and start making more manure.
Oh yeah, throughout the summer you'll be able to tell exactly where it was.
Yep, it'll be a dark line. We could almost draw in the pasture here by moving this chicken tractor.
Yep. We used to run about 200 in a year. Remember?
It was 2 or 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot, 200 or 300. Then
Yeah.
we cut back and decided we would just focus on feeding ourselves.
Yep, and while we miss those days, at the same time, that was probably the best decision we ever made.
It was tough.
All right, let's close the lid and go eat some supper, and then we'll tackle everything else we need to do this evening.
We're having leftovers tonight.
That's fine. Leftovers sometimes are better than when they were
Well,
first
I looked in
cooked.
the refrigerator, and I have a meat and 2 vegetables, so I just made dessert.
Oh, that sounds good.
So
I
I was like, this is perfect.
I got no problem with leftovers.
My chocolate pie.
Yeah, I made chocolate pie.
Chocolate pie.
Yeah.
I love chocolate pie.
Did you tell them about the chicken wire and all that,
Oh, yeah.
and our experience back then, and
Yeah.
raccoons popping their heads off? And...
So we just got done eating supper, and as usual, everything was just absolutely delicious. But the next thing we're going to work on this evening involves some seeds and some seed starting mix. We're going to be starting our tomato plants, and we're going to start our watermelons, which we done last year at the same time we started our tomato plants, and we really liked how that worked out. Give us kind of like a head start on putting when we put them in the ground instead of waiting on them to come up from seed. It just seemed to work a whole lot better. And this time, y'all will be so proud of me. I actually have some high quality seed starting mix. I got that from Hoss Tools. I ordered some. The last time we used the Dollar General seed starting mix when we started our peppers here. And I'm gonna tell you, I didn't realize people got that defensive over seed starting mix. So right there, pepper. Right there's one pushing through. I do need to water these. Right there's some type of herb that's pushing through. That's an herb. Right there are peppers pushing up. And in this whole, right here's some peppers. Right there. They're pushing up. So everything is living. And several of y'all said this in the comments. Well, I say everything's living. There's actually some that have never germinated. And I had 1 or 2 plants that actually had some dampening off go on. And many of y'all in the comments said that it looked like that starting mix was mostly peat moss. And I agree, that's what it looked like. And all of y'all were right. That peat moss, it's almost like it's either dry or wet. You can't find a happy medium in between. It's either too wet or too dry. And I realize that now. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all. We've used Dollar General seed starting mix in the past, and the best I can remember, never really had an issue with it. But this year, it has not performed to my expectations at all. So I did break bad. I actually planned ahead on this one. I went ahead and ordered some seed starting mix from Hoss, and I believe it's a good quality. I hadn't opened up into it yet to see what it looks like, but we're getting ready to do that. Okay, before I get started, put any of this in my tray, I'm going to open this up. Oh man, I can tell a huge difference in this already. Now that's some nice looking seed starting mix right there. But I'm going to put some of this in the bucket down here and get this mixed up and damp. So look at this. Look at the difference in that. See how light and fluffy that is? Got a whole lot of that perlite in there that's going to allow for some good drainage. That's a really good looking seed starting mix. That might be some of the best looking seed starting mix I've ever had. There is a link in the description for Hoss's website. Just in case any of y'all are interested in getting some of this for yourself or anything they offer. Whether it be seeds, seed starting trays, irrigation kits, the whole 9 yards. I mean, if it's related to gardening, there's a good chance they sell it. So I guess we're going to actually find out if the seed starting mix makes a difference on how everything comes up, which I can totally see how it does, but we're going to find out firsthand, because while I'm not giving up on the peppers I've already got started, I am going to restart some. Probably not start as many as I started the first time, But I am going to restart some peppers just in case these up here and the other seed starting trays don't do good. And then last resort is, if these peppers don't do good, well, we'll just go to the store and buy some pepper plants. Well, how many do you want?
I want a whole tray of these.
What is that? The Shelby's?
Yeah.
Okay, so this year as our, what do you call this? A paste tomato?
Yeah, I like cannon tomatoes.
We're using Shelby tomatoes. And for one, because they're a hybrid, and hybrids are a lot more resistant to blights and stuff like that.
Well, and plus, we usually grow them.
San Marzanos.
Yeah, I really like them, but where they're heirloom, we have some. Well, especially last year, we had some issues.
We had some terrible issues with blight last year.
And we had several people in the comments on videos suggest these right here.
Yep.
And so we thought we would give these a go.
And look at this.
Good paste tomato, so.
I don't think every seed pack from Hoss comes with something like that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Because I am terrible at writing this stuff down. So I can actually stick that in my tray there and I'll know what we've got. So these are pelleted seeds, which means, that means they have a coating on them. Hope y'all can, uh-oh, I just lost one. Hope y'all can see that. But they have a coating on them. And that coating makes them a whole lot easier to handle. And I believe it helps the seed germinate. I really don't know the purpose of that coating. I think it helps the seed germinate by holding in moisture around a seed.
Fungicide and stuff like that too.
And it may have that as well.
I've just heard that from the Row by Row show.
Yeah, and I can't remember what he told us these right here, what the purpose of the coating was.
And if you've never heard of the Row by Row show, that's something that Hoss Tools, Greg and Sheila, they put on. They're the people that run Hoss Tools. And if you're into gardening, I mean, that's our was it Thursday night?
Yeah.
Thursday night date.
We watched the Row by Row
We watched
show.
the Row by Row show, and we have for
on
years.
YouTube.
It's on YouTube, yeah. So if you like gardening, I mean, you learn a lot. I've learned a whole lot.
Especially if you're in the South, because they're in South Georgia and they know a lot about gardening in the deep South. So I've got 8 Shelby's there. These should probably be up in a week or so.
Tomatoes are a lot faster than peppers.
Yeah, them peppers take forever. Well, since we already have a half a tray of tomatoes, let's do
another tomato.
Yeah, one more. Is there something there you only want 4 of?
Yeah.
What?
Most of these eaten tomatoes.
Okay. So red snappers. This is some from last year, ain't it?
Yeah. Those may be older than last year. I don't know.
So here we got Mountain Prides, and we didn't have no Mountain Prides last year. But this is Megan's favorite tomato, ain't it?
Yeah. It's a good eaten tomato and canning tomato because they put off several at one time. And well, they do good here anyway. You know, some tomatoes that do good for us may not do good in other places.
That's right.
But
we learned that down south they got a lot of different varieties that work a whole lot better for them than they do up here for us.
That people don't even grow up here. But they're usually the last to crack when you get a lot of rain. And I don't know, they're just a good, like, multi-purpose tomato.
Yeah, and we started...
I mean, they're not a paste tomato by any means, but...
We started planting them when a guy up here... So, long story short, a long, long time ago, we used to buy and resell plant starts. And anyways, I had a guy who recommended Mountain Pride tomatoes. And he started telling us how they were his favorite and all that good stuff. So we tried them ourselves. And
lo and behold, they're our favorite.
Yeah, lo and behold, they're our favorite now. Well, my suggestion is if you're not going to do any more types of tomatoes, whatever we don't do in this, we'll just use for peppers.
We'll just do two of these.
2? Don't that sound good to you?
Yeah. Well, these seeds are actually in this pack.
Are Really?
I don't know why the other ones wouldn't.
That's odd. Chances are we'll have a brandy wine come up somewhere anyways. Brandy
I don't know.
wines.
Did we have any last year?
Yeah.
Down at the creek.
They typically reseed themselves. Well, let's dig through our peppers. And I need, let's do like one of each. We'll do a bell pepper, a jalapeno, cayenne, a Mad Hatter. Is that all? And habanero. Let's cover those up. I know we're not labeling these things, y'all. And we really should.
It don't matter. It's all getting planted up here anyway.
That's true.
I'll figure it out when it...
When it goes to bearing fruit,
Yeah.
you'll know what it is.
Be different if we were like, well, we have to plant these away from the, you know.
Yeah, and we're not doing none of that.
No.
Okay, so there's all of those. The next thing we got to do is our watermelons.
Yep.
So we've got tomatoes, peppers, and we're going to start our watermelons. All right. Okay, this is what I'm going to start my watermelons in. And as you can see, these are a whole lot larger cells because these are probably going to stay in there a lot longer, and the watermelons are going to get fairly big before I actually plant them. And for the seed starting mix I'm going to use in those is actually some of our compost. I'm going to clean out some of the big stuff out of it. And this would probably work as seed starting mix for everything. But it does work good for the watermelons because this has some nutritional value. And the watermelons are going to be staying in these containers until they're good sized. So the bigger containers and the better, you know, more nutritional seed starting mix make a really good combination. All right, that looks like it's ready. Set that in my greenhouse there, Maggie. These are yellow dolls. These yellow dolls here are one of Jacob's favorite watermelons. And I'm going to plant 2 seeds per container here. Now these should be up pretty quick too. And like I said, we just had better luck. We decided to try it last year. And we had really good luck starting these things early and letting them develop up into a plant before we went and put them in the ground. So that's yellow dolls. Look, I got you some yellow dolls planted.
Yay.
That's your favorite, ain't it?
Them young.
Alright.
Sweetie.
So we got yellow dolls, sugar babies, Georgia rattlesnake. Then we'll plant the Charleston grays. Then these will be cantaloupes. And these will be these other melons you've got here. We've just got one variety, right?
I want a sweetie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honey, we got a little bit of everything.
We got everything, honey. We got it. And we can always plant more later on in the field by seed. So this is not like a must-have. This just seems to do better for us. And we've also got, these are Crenshaw melons. And a subscriber sent us these, didn't they?
Yeah, they told us about them last year, and they mailed us some to try. So I'm excited to try them.
We're going to put those in too,
Yeah.
then. So it's getting a little bit late in the evening, and Megan's got to run over here and help her neighbors do some stuff. So I'm going to sit in here and finish these up. It won't take me but a few minutes. But anyways.
Yep. Hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Hope you might have learned a little something. And anyways, it's getting a little busier by the day.
By the day, that's for sure.
But anyways, guys, so we'll see y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.